धर्मक्षेत्रे कुरुक्षेत्रे समवेतायुयुत्सवः।
ओम सहनं भवतु सहनं भुनक्तु सह वीर्यैः करवावहै तेजस्विनाधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति ओम शांति ओम शांति। Let us sit down together. Let us, through discussion, sharpen each other's intellect. May we not bear any ill will towards each other. Peace, peace, peace. Let peace prevail.
So, Amitabh, we talked about 11th chapter last time, and we said Arjun will never be the same. So we want to recap the kind of whole story here. Why will he not be the same? So when Arjun started, when Gita started, Arjun started, what was he? I mean, he was thinking that all these people are my friends and relatives. He's related to them. That hasn't changed until 11th chapter, because something happens, in the Vishwarupa. Then he thought that how can he kill them who are related, so he was already attached to them. And now this whole idea of killing and all the ill effects of war were kind of, confused him what to do, mainly because he thought he wants to be a good person, and that's how he was trained, that we are all trained: do the good thing, do the right thing, good work, be a good boy. And so much so that he was even ready to die. Better to die rather than kill those people. I mean, that's how passionate he was then. And then he probably had, like all of us, what thoughts about divine. Divine is something soft, something soothing, some benevolent, kind, protective. And this is, all of us have that image of God, right? I mean, when something wrong goes, why did you do this thing wrong to me? But you were talking about Rabindranath Tagore, giving some of his poetry in this, it's like some contrast, or, the life is not always bed of roses, like,
Goodness is an addiction too.
Right.
Goodness is not the reality. Okay. Our lives and every event, okay, has got good and bad aspects of it.
Right.
And Tagore has got one of his great songs,
Yeah.
okay, and in which he says, he illustrates this contrast, and he addresses the universal life energy, Brahman or God, as Purna Jagrata Yoti, okay, a fully awakened state which is resplendent, okay.
Mhm.
On the other hand, he is Timira Nibira Nishithini, his dark, frightening night
Mhm.
too. Uh, M- Madhumay Milan, which is very sweet union.
Yeah.
On the other hand, Asaha Bichcheda Vedana, intolerable pangs of separation. So, in this whole world, the way we see the event, which is directed by the Lord of the universe, is full of contrasting situations. It is not only goody goody thing, because that goodness that we want to do, that's also an expectation. That's not reality.
Mhm.
Okay. And that's basically is the idea. So now Arjun, when he sees the cosmic form of Krishna, he sees that everything is coming out of him, this whole universe and everything, and yet everything gets destroyed by him too.
I
Okay.
know that's the thing. I mean, the Krishna that we all imagine, is a smiling, cowboy or cowherd, a friend, that's for Arjun, he was always, Sakha, right?
Yes.
Philosopher, teacher. And when Arjun asked to see his, kind of Vishwarupa or Virat Rupa, or who
Cosmic
he
form, yes.
really cosmic form that he was describing, like, he was describing before, I'm all pervading, all these vibhutis. It was still a good, better image of him. It was not what actually Arjun saw. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, that's why I
Can I
think I wanted
interject?
to do the
Can I
chapter
interject one
11.
thing?
Yeah.
Okay. Because you see, prior to that, Arjun was looking at Krishna as a human being and his own vision. But in verse 8, he says, I'm going to give you this divine vision in the verse 8. And because of that divine vision, antadrishti or dibba now he sees the entirety of this Brahman or Krishna.
Yeah.
That is the
So,
important.
yeah. I mean, one of the things I feel like, when Arjun is seeing that after that divine vision, or what I say in deep meditation, once you are in deep meditation, you are not watching it like a cinema. You have that feeling, but still, for Arjun, this is not a film going on. He is in it. He's
Exactly. It is
he's
not
immersed.
it is not visualization, it is realization.
Yeah, it's realization. And what he sees it all around him.
Yes, that's right.
And this is where, I do want to read some of the things, and so, to give a feel of it. Aneka bahu dharavaktra netram. It's like many hands, many mouths, many bellies. Pashyami tvam sarvatonanta rupa. I see you everywhere. I mean, there is no nantam na madhyam na punastavadyam. There is no beginning, there is no middle, there is no. So it's like what he's seeing is completely surrounding him.
It
And
is
this is,
it, it is omnipotent, omnipresent.
in real terms, it's
Yes.
not like thinking about
No,
omnipresent
no,
and
it
omnipresent.
yeah,
For
sounds
him, it
like
was right, it's like all around him, this was what was going on.
yes.
And then, when he goes on, and some of these, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's like this, what he's seeing here is infinite mouths, blazing fire, devouring worlds. It's like collapse of time, birth, destruction, terror, radiance. One of the description is Yatha Nadi Nam Bahavam Viveka, like rivers are flowing in the ocean. And it's not like river wants to flow or doesn't want to flow. It's like happening.
Yes.
And then he says, Yatha Pradiptam Chalanam Patanga, like these little fire.
Moth. The
Yeah,
how the
moth
moth go into the
go
fire.
into the fire. It's like it's the whole scene is so, it's like adbhut, and at the same time bhayava, it's like fearful. So you don't know, your emotions are totally mixed, overwhelming, um, and it's awesome and awful at the same time. And it's like the words will fail to describe, although I think they have described it very well in this thing. And then he says, tell me, who are you? And then Krishna says, Kalosmi. I mean, many people try to translate Kalosmi is I am time. And that's where I came, this Prabhavanand and Isharud, right? In 1940s, they wrote this book on Gita, the Song of God, Bhagavad Gita. And I do want to, I mean, about that whole parampara, like Ramakrishna. So Ramakrishna had a Sishya Brahmananda or somebody like that. And then he Prabhuananda was his Shish. So I mean, they have done a lot of work internationally, starting from Vivekananda, right? He came 1893.
Yes.
So can you give that timeline, how much work they did, I mean, not only on Gita, but as a whole, any insight into that?
Yeah. Actually, if you really look at in the timeline of the modernization of Hindu philosophy,
Yeah,
starts with Raja Ram Mohan Roy and Dayananda Saraswati. Dayananda was more Vedic. Raman Rai was more Upanishadic.
yeah,
And that went on, and then came Ramakrishna, who died in 1884. But he had some important disciples.
right.
Okay, like Jesus, almost he had almost 10 of them. I don't remember the exact number. Vivekananda is the most prominent among them.
Okay.
But there are other Brahmananda, then Abhedananda, and others. Okay,
Mhm.
there's a whole series of them. But Vivekananda represented the Hindus' religion in the Parliament of Religions in Chicago, which
That was
was
1893.
1893, and he became sensational. He was invited to many places to give his lecture and all that. The other important thing what he did,
Yeah.
rather than the philosophy of the Hinduism or the Hindu religion, he started different centers where this part of Hinduism, Vedanta, was taught, and he established some Vedanta societies.
Mhm.
And there are many important disciples who managed this Vedanta society. Like Avedananda was in St. Louis, Prabhananda, he was in Hollywood.
California.
Hollywood. Then
Yeah.
there was New York Vedanta Society, and nowadays, obviously, another important speaker is Sarvapriyananda of that order.
He's now, right.
Yes,
But the book was written together with Isherwood, right?
yes, yes.
Yeah.
Actually, in Hollywood,
Christopher Isherwood.
yes, I
Yeah.
have his book too. Uh,
Oh, you found that book?
I had that book.
Oh,
Not,
okay.
not that Gita, but Christopher Isherwood's own writing.
Okay.
Actually, in Hollywood Vedanta Society, there were two important figures that I can recall quickly: Christopher Isherwood and Aldous Huxley.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
okay. Anyway, that's beside the point. We got diverted a little bit about this
Yeah.
Genesis.
No, it's good to divert because that is the word, the translation of this. I am become death. He didn't say I have become. The word is I am become death, the scourger of the world. And it's like actually stalosmi lokakshaya krit prabidho. It's like that is basically, it's like I'm the destroyer of the world. I mean, basically I've become death, or I am become death. And some people translate it, or most people translate it like I am time, and time is the destroyer. I mean, because everybody has a time, birth and death. So, but for me, I think Krishna really means that, that I am.
Actually, what I understand, the way I would say,
Yeah,
I am the Brahman. I'm creator of everything. I'm destroyer of everything too.
yeah, right, right.
So there are
But here in this form, he has become that.
yes, yes.
Yeah,
So that's why Arjun is so much overwhelmed. And when you become overwhelmed, and it is so vast compared to his smallness,
yeah.
he gets scared. Okay.
How
he,
would we do?
he becomes insecure. But
So
that's the
it's
reality.
like it's Krishna showing that form, like that is what Brahman is. I mean, it has,
Exactly.
and it also gives that I am not the doer.
Yes, right.
It's so obvious. If all these things are happening, nimitta matram, that is also in this chapter. Bhavasa Besachi, like Krishna says to him, you are go ahead and do this, take the credit, but you're not the doer.
Yes.
And he could see that, when it's like when this thing is happening. So he saw this infinite, all-encompassing universe content within his friend, teacher and guide. I mean, he could see that this form was awe-inspiring, terrifying, overwhelming, all in once, all at once. And that's amazing. It's like this multiple faces, multiple eyes, this, light that is blinding. And it's like the description goes on and on. What did Arjun say?
So one of the point that you mentioned, nimitta matram bhava. Okay.
Yeah.
So I think we discussed that before sometimes back, that the importance of changing from doer to being agent of deed.
Yeah.
When we are in the sense of being doer, obviously ego slips in, expectation slips in, okay, all kinds of anger, frustration, all these things seeps in, and buddhinasham, the loss of intelligence happens. So that's why he says, on the other hand, if you become agent of the deed,
Yeah.
ego is gone and all its cascades are gone.
Yeah.
Okay. And in that case, once with that knowledge comes in humility, comes in when it's combined with knowledge and devotion, our service become spontaneous.
Yeah. So what he sees is galaxies dissolving, stars exploding, civilizations being swallowed, warriors entering the cosmic fire. It's like this. The verse goes there. Dronam cha bhishmam cha jayadratham cha karnam tatha anyanapi yodhviran. All of these are kind of rushing towards their death. It's like, and Arjun is trembling. I mean, it's it's like, what am I seeing here? What did I ask for? And then he says, and this is the thing. I mean, the important part is that Oppenheimer, who is often quoted about using this kalos me, it's like I'm become death, as when he saw the explosion, nuclear explosion, and the thousand sun. He was reading that book, that translation. So that was one of the reasons I wanted to bring this, because I was not aware of Swami Prabhavanand, and Christopher Isherwood, that was the book that, 1944. So yeah, I mean, that was one of the great work, I mean, probably it is one of the early introduction of Gita here in a book form.
There's another one, Nikhil Ananda, about that same time.
Yeah.
But
You have the Niklanand translation,
I
right?
do. Yes.
Yeah.
So, but the point is that to absorb this concept that God or Brahman has got two aspects and it is displayed in this cosmos.
Yeah.
And that's why Arjun later on mentions he trembles with fear, with his insecurity, with his smallness, and then he says, "Show me your pleasant form."
Yeah.
Okay.
So I wanted to recap here because the next chapter that we will do comes to it. So, I mean, I see four forms of Krishna here. It's like one is the formless, nirgun, and infinite, beyond attributes, pure consciousness. And that is, the ultimate. But then the ones that, there is some sort of, what do you call, Nam Roop, in a way. One is the human form of Krishna, right?
Yes.
Nice, friendly, good strategist, good teacher, good, accountability partner. And then he comes this Chaturbhuj form, which, after Arjun is scared, he comes in that pleasant form, right? divinity, but pleasant, and inspiring, awe-inspiring. But it's a more common form of Krishna or Vishnu, in that form, and then his Virat Roop that we just talked about. So these four forms, and that's why I think Arjun asked that question after, in the 12th, which will be, which one should we worship? So that's where I think I am. So what happens to Arjun? After 11th chapter, before 11th chapter, we said four things. I had the relationship. Now, who is related to who? I mean, he's wondering, I mean, what is this? I mean, relationship, I mean, if we are born in this life, I'm your friend, you're my friend, both die and come back in some form, we don't know. You may be in Australia, I may be in Timbuktu. So what it's like the relationship kind of is shaken here as well after this thing. Then his doership, he can see he's not the doer. It's like it was so obvious. The goodness part, I think the world order is more important than goodness. It's like or dharma, whatever word we use, or what you were saying, you are going with the flow, like the universe is doing something and you are one of the beings there to do your task.
My term is human component of this universe.
Yeah, one human component.
And and as you said about the relationship, the point is relationship, when you look at it, it is from the personal point of view, individual point of view.
Yeah.
However, he is now looking at the global point of view. Okay. And that's where the power of teaching of Krishna,
Yeah.
to make Arjun see that he is part of that cosmic process. Okay. Or world order, which you said dharma. Dharma is upholding this universe.
Yeah.
One dharan. Okay. So that's what Krishna tells him. And from fifth onward, we could see that how stepwise he has led
Yeah.
Arjun to this knowledge. And now he's showing it by giving him the divine vision. Now Arjun can see that how the world functions, what Brahman is, what he is, his Atman is, what about other people and the events are. So now he is looking at everything from a global point of view without any ego, but with a very penetrative, imaginative, analytical way.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the moot point here is those people needed to go. Otherwise, the world order was not going to change. Nothing was going to change if Duryodhana stayed. And Duryodhana can stay if Bhishma stays, Karna stays, because they are, they are their pillars. They are their protectors and warriors on that side. So I think Arjun is probably getting it, and it's like I'm getting it too. Sometimes it is essential to understand, because for many people it is difficult. How can you kill your guru or friend or somebody just
Actually, in the earlier chapter, he mentioned Arjun, do you think you are killing them because of their deeds, because they have taken the side of adharma?
Yeah,
Okay, because they have taken the side of evil, they are already dead. He mentions that in the early chapter.
yeah.
You are just a cause to bring their demise. That's all.
I was fascinated. Let me tell the fourth point. The God, now he sees God as an all-pervading force. Really, probably when Krishna said that I'm all-pervading, he didn't really get it. But now, having seen it, now he gets it. But this is interesting coming from an astrologer friend of mine, and he says if you align, if any country or any individual aligns with an ascending ideology, they are more likely to go ahead rather than a descending ideology that might, not be successful. But um, coming from an astrologer, that sounds like a good idea.
It's basically who pursues the dharma, who pursues the adharma.
Yeah. Well, he calls it ascending ideology, but
Yeah.
probably it's the same.
Yeah.
That ascending ideology usually means, dharma, not hopefully not some bad things. So now, I thought we should do this, 11th chapter again, and because last time I don't think we covered this whole kind of, in this format.
Yeah, yeah, today's discussion is to describe the two aspects of Brahman.
Yeah.
Okay. And that is a very important understanding. If I summarize in one line, Brahman has got contrasting aspects. And we have to understand that. And that's the reality of Brahman.
And the contrasting things at the same time.
Yes,
like,
at the same time.
it's
Yes.
not like I'm good today, I'm bad tomorrow. It's not like that.
No. No.
Yeah. And in the same space. So it is, yeah.
In time and space, these two contrasting aspects exist.
But, look at this world.
True.
We all want this world to be ideal. No wars, no fights, no bad things. But all of them coexist.
Yes. That's a very important understanding.
Yeah.
Look at for 5,000 years since we got civilized. Okay. A lot of people came and talked and taught us many principles, but the war and conflicts and the evil has not stopped, because this is also an aspect. Not that one should take side of it,
Yeah.
okay, but it is also a reality.
That's what I think chapter 11 is, that it's reality is different than
And
ideal.
and goodness is also a reality.
Yeah. And
Okay.
there's nothing wrong to be goodness, but if goodness is being crushed,
Yes,
then goodness has to have a spine.
exactly.
किमकुर्वत सञ्जय